Welcome back to another edition of the Press Box. Yes, Mark and I have switched sides.
Why?
Now.
Why did you want to do
this? Why not?
this?
Switch it up a little bit.
I don't mind. I see what you did there, but I was
it
just going to sit in my seat. You're like, let's switch seats. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it just because you want me to be between you and your son over there?
No, he's fine. He's gnawing on his pacifier.
Yeah. Well, if he starts crying like he cried with Ken the other day, this is on you.
That's whatever.
Yeah.
It didn't matter what side. Actually, he cried when I was on that side, so maybe if I sit on this side, he won't cry.
I think you're setting me up.
Yeah, well, you're going to have to go get him because I'm strapped to the chair.
Okay. Let's
anyway,
talk sports.
We're going to talk some sports. We're going to talk, we should probably start with the most recent thing, which was the Oceanside Unified Basketball Playoff game last night.
Yep.
They lost. What was the...
63-54.
Thank you, yeah. And it was close at halftime. It was 36-34. Oceanside was ahead, and then Foxcroft Academy went on a little run, hit a couple threes in the second half, and from there it was just kind of back and forth buckets, you know.
Yeah, no, it was close. It was close throughout. I mean, it was a 2-point game at halftime. But like, I think, like, you know, we talk about the scores of a unified basketball game, like the scores really matter.
They don't matter.
But they really don't.
They don't.
You know what I mean? Like I love covering unified basketball games. Like, you know,
they're fun.
Like,
they're fun.
All these kids are in it for the right reasons. You know, both the players and the helpers and the coaches, they're all there for the right reasons. It's not just about winning and gold balls and things like that. It's about participation. It's about being out there, having fun. My favorite part is the halftime.
Oh, I was going to say that. The halftime where they all danced to like YMCA, and I forget what they did, like the Cupid Shuffle or something yesterday.
Yeah.
But it's both teams, too. It's not just the home team that does it.
Oceanside and Foxcroft, they kind of both come together, and like they've got a spirit squad out there, too, and they're doing their thing. And, you know, and we talked to one of the coaches after the game, Colleen Ricard. She's been coaching, you know, special education, you know, sports for almost 3 decades now, and she just loves, you know, being part of it, and, you know, getting the helpers and the players together and kind of on the same page to achieve a common goal. I mean, you know, when you're playing unified basketball, I mean, that's kind of what it's all about more than anything.
It really is, and it's nice to see that unified basketball has really exploded across the Mid-Coast and the state, really. There's got to be 20-something teams. As my son's crying in the background right now, fussing because he can't get.
Because we switched spots.
Because we switched spots. Yeah, anyway, but the you know 20 teams or whatever that we have now, and the Mid-Coast actually picked up a few this year. Camden has a team now. They're not part of the NPA yet, I don't believe, but they will be next year. And then Belfast has a team now. Mount View has a team. Adomic has a team. Oceanside has a team. So almost all the schools in the Mid-Coast have a unified team, which is nice to see.
You know, and the other thing is, like, you know, sometimes the referees will swallow the whistles and things like that. I mean, because, you know, sometimes there's traveling and stuff like that. And I remember watching the game yesterday, and I'm like, you know, this is really no different than watching LeBron play.
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
You know, it's happening in the pros. It's happening in unified basketball. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But I absolutely love covering these things. They're a ton of fun. And you know, obviously, so Foxcroft wins. They're going to go on and they're going to play Camden Academy. What's interesting about unified basketball is, like, you know, there's 17 teams in the North Division region, and only 6 of those 17 teams opted to participate in the MPA sanction, going for the gold ball kind of thing. And I think it's because a lot of the other teams, like, they don't like how ultra competitive it can sometimes get when the playoffs roll around. They want the kids to just kind of relax, have fun, and I think that's kind of a divide, you know, that the MPA is probably going to have to address at some point. Like, you know, do we want these kids competing for gold balls, or are competing for gold balls kind of taken away from the spirit of the game?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't really know what to make of that divide, because, like you said, 6 teams out of what, 17?
17, and that's just in the North. In the South, I think there's a couple more teams, but I think the South is a bigger region as well.
Yeah, and I'll be right back. He's going to make his second camera debut.
Oh my God!
So a little editing magic right now. Here's Everett, and he's wearing his dinosaur jammies, but you can't tell because they're green.
Oh,
and we're on the green screen.
They're keying through.
So they're keying through, which is kind of funny, as he's staring at Mark right now.
It looks like he's actually really not here. Like, you know, maybe you're just superimposing him from your house.
Right, yeah. He thinks that's funny.
You are? You think that's funny?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm going to try to not talk to you very much because I don't want you to start crying like you did with Ken the other day.
That was funny.
Yeah.
We could have a flashback to that, which was pretty. Anyway, back to Mid-Coast sports. Since you know what you were saying about the South, I don't know what the South for the unified basketball has.
I think there's a few more teams in the South that also play for the gold ball, so to speak. But I think that's something that the MPA is going to have to address at some point. Like, you know, are we going to just go all jamborees and just have there not be a gold ball, or are we going to have teams compete for a gold ball?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because I think it just makes, you know, it's. I'm not saying it's a bad look, but I'm just saying, like, you know, when you've got 11 plus teams saying, nah, we don't care about your gold ball MPA. like that just I don't think that looks great.
Yeah, and it's not that teams are stopping playing. They don't just say, yeah, we're done for the year. They go on to do jamborees over the weekend and other things with other unified teams around the state, which is also a good thing because it keeps them playing for an extra couple of days, which is nice to see.
But congratulations to the Oceanside basketball team on making the playoffs because they did make the playoffs on their own, and also congratulations to Mount View, Madomic, Belfast. I mean, they all had nice seasons and they all played well and they all played for the right reasons, and that's why they do it.
That's all that matters.
Yep.
Also, another playoff game that was almost a week ago was last Saturday.
Yes.
Up in Colby, which you hit, was the Camden Hills ice hockey game against
Old Town
Orono. I wanted to say Waterville Winslow, but I know that was from the other bracket that they were in. And Camden, with coming off that crazy game against Hampton Academy that we were both at, where they won 5-4 in overtime, and you hit that game.
Yep.
And it seemed like Camden was kind of skating from behind in that game most of the time.
Yeah, I definitely. Camden Hills, they fell behind real quick. 2 or 3 minutes in. I mean, Old Town Orono, they were really just hammering the net hard, and they got a rebound off a puck that hit the crossbar, and they popped it in, and they went up 1-0, and they kind of skated even from that point. But then when we got into the second period, Camden they had a 5-minute major and a 2-minute minor, and Old Town Orono ended up getting 2 goals in that period. Went up 3-0, kind of pulled away. I had talked to Camden coach John Magri after the game, and he said that the third period they were playing more their brand of hockey. I mean, the third period was a lot like the third period in the Hamden game, where they were just going out and they were just throwing everything on net, and they finally got a goal. It was Hastings that cleaned up a rebound in front of the net, so it was 3-1. But what was interesting was they kept trying to put themselves in position where they could pull the goalie late in the game, and with about 3.5 minutes left, 2-minute minor penalty on Camden, so they really couldn't pull the goalie.
Yeah.
And once they got to like a minute and a half left, and they got back to to even strength, they really just couldn't clear the puck down to put themselves in a position to pull the goalie out. With literally no time left on the clock, Old Town Orono scored a goal as time expired.
Oh, really?
There was just kind of like a scrum. They were just all fighting for the puck in front of Camden's net, and they just popped it in as the horn.
Oh, really? So that made it 4-1 then.
I mean, technically it was a 3-1 game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the final score says 4-1, so it was what it was. And Old Town Orono, they went on to beat Waterville Winslow in the regional championship, and the state finals are this weekend. I don't know who they're playing.
I can't remember who they're playing. I saw it on Twitter, but I can't remember who.
But Old Town Orono, they're the defending state champions.
Yeah, they're a really good team. Yeah,
they are.
They beat Camden twice during the year. Once in Old Town.
And technically they go by the Black Bears, which I like. I mean, because it's a co-op team. I mean, Orono, they're the Red Riots, and Old Town, they're the Coyotes. But when you combine those two teams together, they play their home games at UMO, where the UMO Black Bears play there.
Which is a cool venue to play at. And, for a high school kid, you play in where UMaine plays, and UMaine's no slouch in hockey most of the year.
Absolutely.
Most of the time, which is nice to see as well. And Camden had a pretty good season. They're still really young. I think their only senior they started was Bryce Tyler.
Right.
And, I don't know if Nate Van Lonkoysen is.
Yeah.
He's a senior, but I don't know if I can't remember if he started or not.
Yeah, he's a starter. He's a starter.
So
I'm not sure.
1 or 2 starters.
Tyler
for most
is
of the part. Charlie Griebel comes back. Like we talked about last week.
The young goalies.
The young goalies. Just going to say that they both of them come back. So John Magri's got some pieces to work with come next year. So
Will Gardner and Jackson Bernie are both in net for Camden. So I mean, they're as far as goaltending wise, they're going to be set for the next few years. I mean, losing Bryce Tyler, he's a really dynamic goal scorer. That's going to be tough to replicate those goals. But there are lots of different ways you can win hockey games. You can win them defensively. You can win them with having a scoring threat like Tyler. But John Magri, he's a first-year coach, but he's really well versed in hockey. He's had kids come up through the Camden school system that have played hockey before. Knows what he's doing. They obviously have a lot of confidence in him as well. So I don't think this is a bad thing for Camden at all. I mean, they're gonna keep moving forward, and next year they could make it around further for sure.
They could, and they also have a nice, almost like a little feeder program with the Mid-Coast Ice Cats that also skate at the MRC too. And that team is comprised of kids from around the area, not just from Camden, Rockport, and all the we're
going to get out of here before Everett starts crying, I think. But next week we're going to kind of have a few weeks where it's going to be just strictly national stuff for the most part around here. We were going to try to talk a little national stuff today, but I think we're going to get out of here while we can.
Someone's in a good mood right now.
Yeah, before we end this with this.
Yeah, exactly. But I think he was just upset that he was sitting over there by himself and I was over here, and He does the same thing at home. If you leave him alone, walk 5 feet away, and he starts going, ah, ah.
Babies having babies.
He's pretty content right now. He just doesn't want to stay up. But anyway.
Well, next week we'll be back. We'll be talking some. So the Bruins are suddenly surging.
Yeah, right. The Bruins.
And the Celtics had a win over the Warriors. Maybe the Kyrie thing is kind of gonna.
And then they beat the Kings, so
gonna simmer down a little bit, maybe, or maybe not. We'll see how things shake out next week. Oh, here he goes. I'm Mark. This is Zack.
And this is Everett.
And this is the Press Box.